Do I have to stay on audio the whole time?
You can turn off your mic, I guess, at some point.
Yeah, you can turn
Unless
off your
you're
mic.
talking.
Okay. It's just
Not your face. We want to see your face.
No, you're
And your
lying,
maple
right?
syrup. Okay. Oh, okay. So we're now recording, got that message, and we'll start. It's 10:03. Okay. So we're going to call to order. The time is 10:03 a.m. on April 2nd, 2025. And I'd like to call this Mayor's Golf Classic Funds Committee meeting to order. Land acknowledgement. The town of Aurora acknowledges that the Anishinaabe lands on which we live and work are the traditional and treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island, as well as many other nations whose presence here continues today. As the closest First Nation community to Aurora, we recognize the special relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and the environmental stewards of these lands, and as a municipality, we join them in these responsibilities. We further acknowledge that Aurora is part of the treaty lands of the Mississaugas and Chippewas, recognized through Treaty Number 13, as well as the Williams Treaty of 1923. A shared understanding of how the rich cultural heritage that has existed for centuries and how our collective past brought us to where we are today will help us walk together into a better future. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. May I please have a motion to approve the agenda as circulated by Legislative Services? Moved by Rob, seconded by Manuel. Thank you. I'll call the vote. All in favor? Any opposed? That carries. Declaration of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Are there any declarations of pecuniary? You know that I can't say that word. Pecuniary interest. All right, nothing? Okay, wonderful. So receipt of the minutes. The Mayor's Golf Classic Funds Committee meeting minutes of February 26, 2025. May I have a motion to receive the meeting minutes of February 26, 2025. You all should have gotten a copy. Manuel, thank you. I guess seconder can be Rob. Are you there? Rob, thank you. I'm getting dizzy. Okay, delegations. We have no delegations. But we do have quite a few matters for consideration.
Just one procedural thing, Madam Chair. Do you mind calling the vote on the minutes?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed that.
No worries.
I'll call the vote on the meeting minutes of February 26, 2025. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. Thank you. All in favor. So we have quite a few matters to discuss today. Each matter is dealt with separately. We'll request a motion to put the item on the floor for discussion, and then ask for a confirmation of the committee's direction before calling the vote. Before I move forward, Mike, do we have someone from Starlight on the call? Oh, there they are. I see
Caitlin and Trevor from Starlight are on.
Thank you, Caitlin and Trevor. So the application from Starlight Children's Foundation Canada regarding a funding request for the 2025 Trick or Sweet event. May I have a mover, please? And then a seconder to put the item on the floor for discussion. Mover? Manuel, seconder, yes. Rob, and thank you for that, seconder. So today we're going to discuss that the application from Starlight Children's Foundation Canada regarding the funding request for the 2025 Trick or Treat Sweet event be received, and that we as a committee will provide direction to either grant the funding request, deny the funding request, or defer the consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So we do have, it looks like Caitlin and
Trevor,
thank you, Caitlin and Trevor, for being here. So before I ask if there's any questions or comments, you did receive, Manuel and Rob, the documentation, but do you have anything you'd like to share with us about this event?
Yeah, I think we just give a quick overview. As you said, you received some information from us. I'm actually going to turn it over to Caitlin mainly for this. So Caitlin is our manager of program services and the one who does all the amazing events and activities for the children that Starlight serves. We've been running this event for over a decade. 3 years ago, we moved it to the town of Aurora to have it. We run it at the Microtel in Aurora. We host over 350 children and their family members for a really special and neat trick-or-treating event that they're not able to normally take part in. I'm going to get Caitlin just to quickly explain a little bit more about the event.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
I grew up in Aurora my entire life. So it was a kind of a pull for me to bring the event there once we made the relationship with Amanda at Microtel. The hotel has been nothing short of amazing. They bring in their own volunteers for the event and are so helpful. So what it is we rent out the entire second floor of Microtel. And you would never guess that it is a hotel by the end of decorations. We decorate the hallways. Each room is a different theme. So last year we had 25 themes from superheroes to princesses, Beetlejuice. We have all types of different characters come out and volunteers. Definitely a big undertaking. It takes a lot to transform a hotel room into like a themed room, let alone 25 of them. But every year we hear from the Starlight kids and their families that it is a family favorite event, as many of our children who are either immunocompromised or have mobility issues can't participate in regular door-to-door trick-or-treating just based on stairs, accessibility, not being safe enough for their health. So this is their opportunity to have that trick-or-treating experience.
Thank you. Okay, any questions, comments from the committee?
No
Okay.
questions. Yeah, I'm good.
No questions, all right. So we did, thank you for all the very clear information that you provided in the package. Okay, so sorry. I'm on my wrong page here. So if we have no questions or comments, and I will take it to a vote. And so the request was for $5,000, correct? So
Sorry.
all in favor? Oh, sorry.
2000 was 2000. 2000 was it?
No, it was 5,000.
I think it's 2.
Oh, was it 2,000? I'm so sorry. I'm getting myself mixed up. Okay, sorry, for $2,000. So all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So that carries. Thank you. Thank you, Caitlin and Trevor, for being here, and
Thank
Mike will
you so
follow up
much.
with- the
That's
team will
wonderful.
follow
Thank you
up
so
with
much, everybody.
Thank
Alrighty.
you.
Good luck.
Take
Good
care.
luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Sorry about that. I got confused with another one. Okay, the next one we have is the Easter Seals Ontario. Is there anybody on site for that?
Yes, just Andrea Peterson from Easter Seals is
Thank
is
you,
on the meeting
Andrea.
right now.
Hi, Andrea. If you're able to put yourself on camera and unmute yourself, that'd be fabulous.
I am trying to put myself on camera, and for some reason, it's not letting me.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there we go.
And again, thank you so much for being here.
No,
So,
absolutely.
so what we'll do then, Andrea, is I'm just going to ensure that we put the item up on the floor for discussion, and then I'm going to ask you to just do a little bit of an overview, and thank you for all the material you sent, and then we'll take it to a vote
Okay.
in relation to the request of, this one is for $5,000. So may I have a mover and a seconder to put the item on the floor by the committee? Anybody would move? Manuel, seconded by Rob. Thank you. So it's on the table. And we're going to look at the application for Easter Seals Ontario regarding the funding programs and be received. That the committee provide direction to either granting the funding request, deny the funding request, or to defer the consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So, Andrea, if you could just share a little bit more about this request.
Yeah, so I put forth a request for $5,000, as you said, to help families in the Aurora region. We have, sorry, we had last year's 30 families from Aurora that we were helping. And each of them require different pieces of equipment. Our equipment, our kids outgrow the equipment fairly quickly, depending on their age and depending on what their issues may be. So that equipment can get very expensive for families. You can have for example, a wheelchair can be a manual wheelchair that could cost maybe $500. You've got power wheelchairs that some of our kids need, and they require lifts and everything else, and that can run up to $40,000 to $65,000. So it's really kind of crazy how much some things can cost, and that's just one piece of equipment. Some children need, lifts to get in and out of the bathtubs or the showers. They need a lift to get on and off the toilet. They need a lift to get up and down the stairs or out of the house or into the car. So the equipment costs for families can really, skyrocket. So as much as we can help, we try to help.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Any questions for Andrea? Comments?
And this would affect, or this would help those 30 families in Aurora that you mentioned?
Yeah, and those numbers those were the numbers from last year. I requested the numbers from this year. I wasn't able to get them quite yet, so I can request that information for you if you'd like to know how many families we have this year, and get that for you by the end of the week, if that's okay.
I mean, the reality is the $5,000 will be used probably spread out against one or two people, or maybe just for one, depending on the need of the equipment.
Absolutely.
Because of the reality of the cost, but that's very fair. So anything would help. That's my comment on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that very much. So what we'll do is we'll just take it for a vote unless there's any other further comments or questions for Andrea. Okay. So all in favor? Anyone opposed? So that carries. So Andrea, thank you so much for your information as well as your presentation, and the team will follow up from Aurora to get you your check.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Be safe. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're moving along, guys. So the next one, do we have someone from Able Network with us? Karen?
Yes, we have
Karen.
Karen,
Okay,
yes.
Karen. Hi, Karen. It's Andrea. Just you can put yourself off mute and let us see. There she is.
All right.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
So we're just going to go through the process, and we do have, of course, your application, and I will be asking you to speak a little bit about that in a couple of seconds.
Sure.
So we now have an application from Able Network regarding funding for programs. May I have a mover and seconder to put the item on the floor for discussion from the committee? Rob's the mover, Manuel's the seconder. And so we're going to be looking at the application from Able Network regarding the funding programs to be received. And the committee will provide direction to either granting the funding request, denying the funding request, or deferring consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So if we could just have you, Karen, speak to your request.
Yes. Okay. So, well, first of all, thank you for considering our request. So Able Network, we are a fee-for-service registered charity. We are a day program that supports adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in York Region. We have 4 locations, Aurora being our first location, our longest, our biggest location. Those of you who live in Aurora, work in Aurora, will see our participants all over town, going to work and volunteer placements, going to the gym. We work out at the Aurora Family Leisure Complex. 4 of our participants are employed by the town of Aurora. Town of Aurora is a very, very wonderful community partner. We have 3 of our participants, young men who work at the gym doing cleaning and organizing, and 1 who works at Town Hall. Meredith works in the customer service department, so you will probably see her there. We do our very, very best to keep fees affordable for our families. That's why we work really hard at fundraising and trying to keep it so that our program costs are covered 50% by donations and grants and fundraising events. It is very challenging. We had a very difficult year last year. We're trying to make up for it this year. We're doing a lot of aggressive fundraising. We really feel that our program adds value to the community. In addition to the fact that our guys are out there and showing the community that disability doesn't stop somebody from being really successful in the community, working and contributing, and educating those community members, but also we do a lot of community service as well. So our participants in Aurora specifically do a lot of volunteer work at Trinity Anglican Church. They volunteer at Welcoming Arms. We share space in Aurora with Welcoming Arms. We have a shared space. They volunteer every week for Welcome Table, Martha's Table. They make soup for Martha's Table from September through June. Volunteer at the Clothes Closet, which is one of the Welcoming Arms initiatives. So doing a lot of valuable community service in addition to paid employment that our guys have. And we have 9 wonderful community partners who employ our participants, and they're out there showing what a person with an intellectual disability is capable of doing in the community, and that's definitely adding a lot of value. We have heavy costs. Our biggest, and this is a challenge because our biggest cost is staffing. We have an amazing staff of talented, well-educated employees who work very, very closely with our participants, helping them to develop skills and become independent in the community. And that's something that we have a hard time when we apply for funding. We have other costs. Obviously, we have rent, we have gym membership fees, we have continuing education fees. We don't have capital costs because most of what we do is in the community. But when we apply for funding, asking for money to cover salaries is something that is often, it's just not available. It's not something we can ask for. So it's something we try, but additionally though, we have rent. We rent space from Trinity Anglican Church in the rectory. I don't know if you're familiar. So we have rental costs, and we again, gym memberships, continuing education. We have a weekly lunch program. Now we are lucky. We received funding from Trinity Anglican Endowment Fund for our lunch program, specifically in Aurora, which is great. That really helps us. Our guys go out and go grocery shopping, meal plan. They prepare a lunch on Fridays for the group, which is great. But it's all the other costs. It's, we put a lot of money into our continuing education program, but again, our biggest cost is staffing.
I appreciate all that you said, Karen. Definitely, that's a challenge for many organizations. So thank you. Any questions, comments for Karen?
I have a question. Question for Karen. Karen, could you just enlighten me more on your fee-for-service structure? You had mentioned that you have your services are fee-for-service. Could I just get a little bit of clarification on that?
Yes, thank you. So we are fee-for-service. So we are a registered charity. And so the fee-for-service is, our participants, our program participants who come to us Monday to Friday, we're a full-time day program. So they come to us between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. Our participants and their families pay a fee to come to ABLE. We are very, very low compared with a lot of other day programs because of the funding model. So currently the full-time fee for one of our participants is $1,060 a month, which again is low compared with other programs. We've had to increase fees this year and last year minimally because again, we're trying to keep things affordable for our families and participants. It's a struggle for families to pay for day programming, especially families who are aging, retired. It's hard, and there isn't a lot of funding available to the families. They do get passport, our participants do get passport funding through the Ontario government, but it's very, 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 very low compared with the costs of adult day programs. So that's why we have such an amazing volunteer board of directors who work really hard to try to keep those fees down, so that we are keeping it around 50% of our operating costs paid by program fees, and the rest coming from all the fundraising and grants and private donations, and so that's the fee for service model.
And you're open Monday to Friday?
We are, yeah. Day
Closed
program.
on weekends. 5 days
Closed
a
on
week.
weekends. Yeah, we're just a day program. We're not a residential program. Our participants come to us, yeah, Monday to Friday. Some come 3 or 4 days a week. Most come 5 days a week. Yeah, they get there by bus and go home by bus. Many of them, some get dropped off by family and picked up, but yeah. And during the day, they're very busy. We have 5 core programs. So one of them is the volunteering community service activities. One is work, paid employment. Not all of our participants have paid employment, but it's something they're all working toward. Paid employment is hard to get, but our program managers work really hard, chasing those opportunities down. Recreation is one of our programs. So that's where our participants have gym memberships at the Aurora Family Leisure Complex, and they go with staff. Each participant goes 2 or 3 days a week, depending on their schedule. And they walk back and forth, get great exercise. They love going to the leisure complex. Wayne, Diana, the whole crew there, they have a great relationship with. They work out independently, but with the staff always there to support them. And then we have travel and safety training. So it's transit and pedestrian safety training. So because our program is community-based, and we're working on independent skills, that's a big part of our program. So participants come to us and maybe never have taken a bus on their own, or even, crossing the street, a busy street like Yonge Street is, something that's very nerve-wracking for them and their families. So that's our staff spend a good amount of time on those skills, so that our participants can, when ready, get around independently. You'll see them getting on and off buses and crossing streets all over Aurora. And that's one of the 5 core programs. And then continuing education is a big program that encompasses a lot of different things. It's traditional reading, writing, keeping up the skills that they would have learned in school, but so that, if we don't use these skills, we lose these skills. But it can look like a lot of it is life skills. It's the meal prepping and cooking, shopping, trying to find coupons to the sales in the grocery store, but price matching, all of these things that really help them with their family life as well. So anything from cleaning, we help keep the rectory clean in Aurora, so the dusting and the vacuuming and the washing of bathrooms and kitchen and all of that, and laundry, life skills, and then some fun other things like a clay class here or there, a dance class. Like whenever somebody in the community offers us something for free or at a very low cost, we're on it. So those are the 5 core programs. And so they're core programs in that they're all mandatory sort of programs, because they all work together to provide a really nice balance, we think, for our participants.
Right. Thank you for this wonderful overview. Manuel, thank you for that question. Okay, so it was a $5,000 request. And so now we're just going to look at moving forward. So I'll call for a vote on the request. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. So thank you, Karen. You will get there will be follow-up from the team at Aurora, and we appreciate it. It helped me have a better understanding, definitely, of what you're doing with Able Network. I've heard very positive
Thank
comments
you.
on your programming, so appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for your time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
So, do we have somebody from Big Brothers and Big Sisters?
Yes.
Oh,
Madam Chair, we have Jenna Lee is.
Jenna
on her
Lee.
way.
All right.
Yes.
I see her coming in. Hi, Jenna Lee. It's Angela. So if you don't mind putting yourself off mute, and if we could see your face, there you are. Nice to meet you there, Jenna Lee.
Hi.
So basically what's going to happen is we will look at your application. Sorry, let me just grab your application. I'm getting myself behind myself. Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Okay. Well, you know what? That was the one I didn't print off. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. And so your application was for how much? Do you remember?
5,000.
5,000. Thank you. I realized I didn't print that one off. Okay, so the others hopefully have it in front of them. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder to put the discussion on the floor about the application from Big Brothers and Big Sisters Peel York regarding funding for mentoring programs. Moved by Rob and seconded by Manuel. And so basically now we will discuss the application. We will determine if we grant the funding request, deny the funding request, or defer the consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So if you generally could just give us an overview of the request.
Yep. So the request we put forward is for the mentoring programs that we offer within the town of Aurora. So what that looks like right now is we offer our one-to-one community-based mentoring, as well as our community wellness programs. So those are programs run in schools. So they are called Go Girls, Game On, and Wellness Warriors. And last year, in 2024, we had them within 10 schools within the community of Aurora. And we're on track to be about the same this year. So primarily, the funds will be used towards helping us with the needs of the supplies and all the things that go into running those programs, as well as our current push with mentor recruitment to help us run those programs, as we have continued to have a very lengthy wait list across all regions, but because we're down with mentors. So we are on a big push for mentor recruitment. But with the $5,000 we've asked through the Mayor's Golf Tournament, it would be going to help support primarily with the one-to-one and the group wellness programs that we run within Aurora specifically.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I did just receive the application, so I appreciate that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So any questions? Yes, thank you, Manuel.
Generally, currently, how many Aurora residents are in your program?
Aurora residents, we are just over, I believe it's about 30-ish approximately residents that we have. That's youth. And then you would have mentors on top of that as well, like residents who are volunteers. I don't have the number of volunteers off my hand, but I know that the number of youth that are involved in our programs for specifically running off of 2024 was approximately, I believe it was around 34, 35 youth.
So do they leave the program because they're not in the program this year? If you're using last year's number, are they in the program this year?
No, we just programs are still running. So I'd have to check with my programs team to confirm that all of those are in there. Our numbers are about the same. I just don't know if we've added new programs from new youth from our wait list into the programs, is what I would have to confirm. So we would still be sitting around that same number at this point in time. We are still in 10 schools. So in those groups that I mentioned, the 3 different groups, Go Girls, Game On, and Wellness Warriors, they are typically made up of 10 to 12 youth per group. So they run throughout the school year. So some could be running in the spring, some could be running in the fall. So they're not all running the whole year long because they're 7-week programs, if that makes sense. So who we have enrolled right now in the springtime or the numbers we have right now might fluctuate come the fall, dependent on the school's interest, if they still have enough youth. So I just can't speak to all of 2025 because I don't know what happens when the new school year comes. And since we're already approaching getting closer and closer to the end of this school year or halfway through, chances are these funds would be coming into play for the start of the new school year for those wellness programs. If that helps you to understand a bit better.
Yeah, it does. But just kind of wonder why. Anyway, there's a wait list. So I'm just wondering why there is a wait list.
Well, the wait list isn't necessarily Aurora specific. We have 300 youth on our wait list, but that's through all of Peel and York. And some of those are for the 1-to-1. That's our biggest. So is when a little brother is matched with a big brother or a little sister is matched. So our wait list isn't broken out by program or by 1-to-1. That includes anyone who's waiting to be involved in Big Brothers, Big Sisters in some way. So the hardest people to move off the wait list are typically the 1-to-1 matches because it's a lot more of a requirement from our volunteers than our group programs that we can do in the school, where we can obviously incorporate more youth at once. So that's where we try our best to move people who are waiting to be matched individually with a big brother or big sister into a group program if it's offered in a school that they're going to. There has to be enough youth in that school for us to be able to, and as well a champion in the school, like a teacher or admin that champions the program who will help manage and run it while it's at the school. So there's a lot of factors in that, but the wait list isn't specific to one program, and it that number does cover all of Peel and York. I don't actually believe that we have a huge wait list. We currently have 5. Actually, I just was scanning my application I sent you. Yeah, 5. We currently have 5 young people waiting to be matched in Aurora.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And if there's not any other comments, thank you again, Jenna Lee, for presenting. I will now ask for a vote. So all in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay, that carries. So Jenna Lee, you'll have a follow-up from the team at Aurora in regards to the check. So thank you so much. And I do appreciate it. I was just going to say, my sister was one of the champions, as you say, in her school in Toronto for years. And really, so from the background, I could see the great experience. Not only did she have in the school, but for those children that were involved. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so now we have the application from Omar's. Is someone on that right now?
So, Angela, we have May on, but we don't have Lynette. Did you want to go to Marquee?
I can, yeah, let's go on to Marquee.
Okay.
And I can send a quick message to Lynette to see if she's coming through because I'm not certain.
Lynette. Okay. Turns out Lynette's here, but I've already invited Sherilyn. So can we, if you don't mind, let's do Marquee.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to move on to Marquee. So we're just going to jump the Omar's. We're going to go down to 7.6. And so when you're ready, Cheryl, just come on with your beautiful face and your sound. There you are. Thank you. So what we're going to be doing, Cheryl, is just going to be going through the application. But first I need to ask, so we have an application for Marquee Theatrical Productions regarding funding for programs. So may I have a mover and a seconder? So moved by, to put on the table, sorry, to move by Rob and seconded by Manuel. Thank you. So we're looking at the application for Marquee Theatrical Productions regarding funding for the programs that's been received. And the committee now will provide direction to either grant the funding request, deny the funding request, or defer consideration for funding request to a future meeting. So Cheryl, could you please give us an overview of your request for $5,000 and what it will be used for?
Yeah, sure. So Marquee is a theater school, and we serve about 800 kids per year at Marquee. We teach life skills through the performing arts, and what we do is we traditionally host our own fundraisings every year. Fractals was a huge part of our fundraising, and unfortunately, you've probably heard that they went bankrupt. So we no longer have that to look forward to work. We were supposed to do it this coming week at our upcoming production that's starting. And for the next full month, we were supposed to do that, but now that is no longer. So we no longer have those funds to look forward to. And our rent recently went up by 35%. And it is going to, I know, it's quite a jump, and it's been a hard bridge for us to hit those two things. The funding that we raise is generally used to help us to offset in part some of the costs that it takes to put these programs together, because we do keep our user fees as really quite low in comparison to all of our competitors. That is to allow more children to take part rather than making, creating a financial barrier for, making it harder for kids to register. Now, having said that, there are still many families who do have financial barriers. And so the rest of the funding, a lot of the funding that we raise actually goes to support those families who couldn't afford to take part in our educational programming. So we sponsor a number of children and families, either in part or in whole, depends on their situation. And they do apply for the funding. And that's what we're hoping to do with those funds.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Cheryl from Rob or Manuel?
My question is the same. As you can see, Angela, it's a cycle for me. How many students, you call them students, how many students do you have that are from Aurora?
From Aurora?
Yes.
I would say we're more than half, just above half of what we bring here, because we serve all of York Region. And we do also have some Simcoe County and a sprinkle of Durham. But the majority is from Aurora Newmarket, but the majority is because we're in Aurora, our business is in Aurora. So we actually attract a lot more Aurorans than we do Newmarket, Richmond Hill, although we do get tons. But I would say at least probably 55, almost upward of 60% of our people here are Aurorans. We can definitely also ensure that the funding goes to only Aurorans. Like, we can definitely manipulate that particular outreach if that's what your preference is. That is not a problem to do that. It's easily done.
How would you do that, Cheryl?
Because when they apply, I know where they're from. We ask their address.
Makes sense.
Great. Okay. Okay, so if there's no other questions for Cheryl, we will now go to the vote. So it's for $5,000. All in favor? Anybody opposed? Okay. So I guess it carries because it's 2-1, but I do appreciate that comment. Mike, do you want to say something about that?
Nope, just agreeing with you that it carries.
Okay, so thank you so very much, Cheryl, for that time.
Thank you. Is it possible to ask why Manuel was against it?
Oh, it is possible. I guess you did mention, Cheryl, that it is a business. So I just
For a charity.
It is, yeah. But for me, and I'm just saying that this funds, in my point of view, is just for the purpose of Aurora in general. That's my point of view. But okay. It passes. So I just wanted to be on record saying that I oppose it, but it passes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And the town will be in touch. Alrighty.
Okay, thank you.
So we now, we'll let Cheryl go and we'll get on to our,
Oh, there, leave.
we'll go back to 7.5. So when we see May is on, and I believe you said Lynette was going to be on.
Yep, there's May and Lynette's on as well.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. So Lynette, if I can't personally see you just yet. The way my screen is set up, maybe I'll do my screen a little set up differently. 1 second. I'll do the gallery. There we go. And then I can see. So Lynette, you'll need to have your camera on during this, if you're able. I don't know where you're hiding. Is Lynette able to hear me?
She should be. She was on. Let me just message her.
I see that her speaker should be on her, or her, she's off mute, so. Just give it a minute here. Lynette. Again, committee, you should have the application in front of you. I mean, we should be able to go forward, May, if you feel comfortable with that. Oh, there she is. Hey, Lynette, can you hear me? You can't hear you. Oh, she's connecting. And if you can take yourself off mute so we can hear you. You're on mute right now. There
Thank
you.
you. Sorry.
Yay. No worries.
Yay.
I know you've been running around. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear an application from Omar's Fashion Through the Ages in support of South Lake Health Men's Health. Sorry, in support of South Lake's Health Men's Health regarding their funding for the fundraising event. So first I need a seconder or mover, sorry, to put it on the table. Mover, anyone? Rob's moving there. I can see him. And Manuel is the seconder. Thank you. And that the application from Omar's Fashion Through the Ages in support of South Lake Health Men's Health, that's a mouthful, regarding funding of the fundraising event be received. So what the process is that we will move to vote either as to granting the funding request, deny the funding request, or deferring consideration of the funding request to a future meeting. So we'll start with May and Lynette, who can speak about the request. And the request is for $5,000. Go ahead.
May, do you want to go ahead?
So please take yourself off mute, May. Take your time, no worries.
Good morning, Lynette.
Good morning, Rob. How are you?
Hi, neighbor.
Hi, Optimus. Are you able to unmute people, Angela?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I can. Maybe the town can. Mike, are you able to unmute people?
How's that?
Oh, yay! All right, breathe and take your time. All right. So just give us an overview, May. Thanks.
Okay, so basically, about a year ago, I was in talks with the hospital doing an event for South Lake. And basically, it was proposed to have something to do with mental health. And about a week before Christmas, my husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And so as we were talking and dealing and going through it, we realized how many men don't actually get checked. And just like how we used to have the whole breast cancer campaign, we started discovering that there wasn't enough there for men's health and talking about it openly. And then realizing how many were in later stages of prostate cancer, because a lot of guys just blow it off and say, oh yeah, you know, it's a groin injury or it's this or it's that. And so then we decided to change our campaign and focus on men's health. And therefore we're doing a big fashion show at the Royal Venetian. we seems to have got a really, really good response to people attending this event. We're trying to raise as much as we can for men's health. We will have a surgeon. We're working with the hospital, as well as Miss Lynette, who's a firecracker, and Sandra from the chamber, Sandra Ferry. Even though she's retired, she's taken the initiative on working on this campaign. And we just want to promote and talk about men's health and how you need to get checked, basically.
And also, Omar's has been in our community for 55 years this year. So they wanted to celebrate their 50th, but that was during COVID. So, May and Raz weren't able to do kind of a big celebration. So they thought, okay, for 55, we're going to do that, which is kind of what was the catalyst for starting. How do we celebrate being in the community for 55 years and give back to the community? So I think, such a great initiative. And because Raz is going through this and has a very aggressive form of prostate cancer, his community has really rallied around him. And it is a celebration of Omar's, as well as raising this awareness and funds for Southlake. So, I think Omar's has just been such a strong part of our community that them doing this and giving back is just wonderful. That's what I want to say. I know May's not going to boast about herself and about this great business that her father-in-law started in 1970 and has survived. I mean, any business surviving today is, never mind 55 years.
Yeah. So you're asking for basically a sponsorship of $5,000 towards the event, which is something that we have provided to other fundraising events. I just want to make sure the committee is clear on that. It's not an anomaly. Any questions for May and Lynette?
I just want to make a comment that I do know May and Raz. My son played hockey with them, with Michael
Yeah.
in Aurora, so I do know them. And please let Raj know I wish him a speedy recovery.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I say the same. I do wish him the well, and you well, May, as you navigate this with him.
Thank you, Angela.
Any other comments about the event or?
I just want to say Omar's has really been, start with my kids have bought many pairs of shoes there. And, they've been very helpful with the sale of our Optimist Club Christmas cakes. And they've just been a pillar in the community. And I think it's well deserved. So.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll take it to a vote then. So the request again is from Omar's Fashion for the fundraising event for Southlake Men's Health. And so all in favor? Any opposed? That carries. So you will hear from the town in relation to the funds and when you will receive them. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Thank you, everyone.
We'll be in touch. Blessings.
Okay,
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So once they go off, we'll finish our meeting. Thank you. Okay. Well, that was a good full meeting. Wow. Any informational items? We do not have any informational items. Any new business? We don't have any new business either. So I am going to ask that we move to adjourn this meeting. So may I have a motion?
I have a question. Angela, may I ask one
Manuel.
question, please?
Yes,
Mike?
please.
To Mike, I'm new to this committee, and I think Rob and Angela have been in this before. Is there a guideline or I know I got some paperwork. There's an FAQ as a priority. How do we look at funding? Like my opposition to the Marquee is because it's a business, right? So why do we support the business? I'm just me asking. I'm a part of the committee, and I wanted to be on record as saying no because I do not agree with supporting a business. So I don't know if there's some guidelines or stuff like that then that you can provide for new members of committees.
Sure. So, to be clear, like not many businesses come forward at all. But if there's a charitable aspect to what that business is doing, if they're helping, if they're, providing some sort of benefit to the members of Aurora, then we'll put it before the committee for the committee's decision. And so, it wasn't like that one, when we got that one, it was tough. I didn't know whether to put this in front of the committee or not. Anyways, but at the end of the day, that's what we do. And if they can prove to the committee that they're providing a benefit to the members of Aurora, then we will continue to do that. And I'll send you the guidelines we have guidelines on the application form.
But they do list on their website. I'm just looking at it now. They are a charitable organization with a charitable number.
Mm-hmm.
But they
and I
charge,
think
Angela.
that's
But they charge for the programs, right? So
yeah,
my
but
point
I wouldn't say that that's not a reality of some organizations, right? So for example, we're a charity, but we have mental health services where we have a fee if an individual can pay, but extremely heavily subsidized if they can't, based on the fundraising that we do, right? So charities can charge a fee for service, just like we spoke to Able Network. It's just they're heavily subsidized fees, right? Yeah.
See, my fear is you grant one business and all businesses come, and then you can't, how do we arbitrate to say, no, you, yes, you, that, But see, for me, I was on the line that she comes up and says, my business. And I say, okay, I'm not supporting a business.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
So it was a bit of a slip there. She should start with it. They're charitable. But from what I can see from their application, where they do speak, I'm just double checking the application.
I went to the website as well.
I just went to the website. So they do have a charitable number. I mean, it wouldn't be unlike if Omar's had come and said, please support our 55th anniversary party. No, that would definitely be a given. No.
But South Lake was involved.
But they are supporting a charity.
Why don't we
in this
just give it to South Lake? Why don't we just give it to South Lake? And why do we need to give somebody? Why don't we just give it to South Lake and come and ask for it? Anyway.
Yeah, it's the way the system works.
If I'm stirring the pot too much.
No, and I appreciate the questions you asked, Manuel, and I think it's very important that we ask these questions. And you're right, and it's a great question to Mike about how do we balance business over charity over whatever other needs are, individuals, which we've had questions about. Rob? Oh, sorry, Mike has to say something then, Rob.
No, I'm just going on mute.
Oh, you're going on mute. Okay. Rob, Mike?
And just for why not give it just to South Lake? I agree. I much prefer, us to the beneficiary. But South Lake can only, if South Lake ever made an application to us, they can only get $5,000 off us. Whereas other organizations, so we can give South Lake more through almost a third party and still be legit, through a sponsorship or things like that, which we've done before.
But the implications are, Mike, if you give the money to Omar, we gave it to Omar. So Omar does this big. So when they donate to South Lake, they get the tax deduction on that, right? It's a gain for them. Anyway, that's the way I look at it as a business, right? So they ask for money, you give them support, they do the fundraising, they donate it to South Lake under their name, they get the tax break on it. From the money we gave them, right? That's just what I'm trying to say here.
Okay, yeah, that's how it works.
Sometimes it's just not all black and white. There's a bit of gray sometimes. So
right.
So that's why I oppose, so that we can have all this discussion between us, right? So that we know where we stand in the future.
Yep, I appreciate that. No, I do appreciate that. Okay, so sorry. Back to did we close? No, we have to close. We have to move. I have to adjourn the meeting. All right. Any other comments or concerns or questions until we meet again? This has been fabulous, personally. Okay. So may I have a motion to adjourn? I got one of two good-looking guys here. So Manuel is going to move, and seconded by Rob.
And Rob, pleasure to meet you, Rob.
Sorry?
I said pleasure to meet you, Rob, for the first time.
It was nice to meet you too. Angela had me mistaken for somebody good looking, but anyway.
Oh, Rob. All right, all in favor. We got to get out of here.
Bye.
Okay.